I think it's a good answer, but I still have a few questions about the Shaman from Sea-Doo and if it's necessarily the best pick.
Well, they're about to be served up. They're about to be answered. And the one thing with easy money that goes without saying, they're a relatively predictable team. So we know that Method Orange was able to tailor this pick exactly for it. It was the one that Zico also did predict. And now as the gates open, the question on all of our minds is whether or not this rematch is going to be a repeat if we're going to see Easy Money create a major upset and send Method Orange out of this tournament early.
I think it's important to take into account when we have newcomers such as Easy Money, live broadcast is a lot different than playing in the offline stages or even just playing on the ladder with a live audience monitoring every move you make. That could definitely add a lot of pressure. So I'm curious to see how Easy Money do in that pressure cooker, currently securing crowd control into 2 members, setting themselves up pretty effectively to bake some giant greater power blasts as they swap to Sea-Doo, looking to close it out early on. Mez protects them. Will this anti-magic shield be enough, or anti-magic zone be enough? It looks to be. The all-in from Easy Money has been thwarted. Nice wind shear by Sea-Doo, making sure he doesn't go down to that. They did get the glider safeguard at least. Potentially we see a swap to Sea-Doo again. I like that Easy Money are not afraid to go for these risky healer swaps. Definitely trying to keep Sea-Doo on his toes.
Yeah, Varen caught into the room. Greater Power Blast secured onto Trill. Burt trying to get some counter pressure for his team. Method Orange looking to get really aggressive though. Trill commits the touch of death now onto Varen. He responds with the temporal shield to deny some of this damage, and it looks like he will be able to survive. I like the Windwalker Death Knight. I think it provides a lot more single target damage than the Demon Hunter, which is what they need to really pressure down one of these mages. But Burt's been doing a good job building up pressure for his team. Sea-Doo forced to trinket out. Now with no Astral Shift, no Trinket, no anti-magic zone, Sea-Doo is a very vulnerable target to incoming burst damage from Easy Money if they can get a nice clean setup.
Yeah, they've set themselves up for victory actually. If they can get Sea-Doo in a full polymorph, set up a double casted greater pyro blast, some feral affinity damage sprinkled on top, I think that they've got a recipe for success here. Sea-Doo needs to be playing in the safest position possible. If he overextends, it could be it. Burt blinks in to set up for the win. He's got the polymorph on Sea-Doo. Varen gets a double ring of frost. Perfect setup. Burt gets the pyro. Varen double blinks in, but where was the stun? Tuna wasn't there with the stun. They missed the most important ingredient, a stun.
Yeah, definitely going to be a little bit of a blunder there for Easy Money. That was such a beautiful setup, but Sea-Doo could still be in a little bit of trouble. Looking to line of sight, Astral Shift gets traded out, and now in Ghost Wolf, he manages to escape behind the pillar. Mez and Trill are going to make it difficult for Burt and Varen to really reconnect to their target. As gets polymorphed up, Varen and Burt once again looking for some damage. Who are these greater power blasts going to be cooking up on? It looks like Trill is the target of choice. So he gets chunked down a little bit, getting low. Varen, though, getting soloed in the meantime by Trill. Good counter pressure here from Method Orange. Sea-Doo is just playing so far away. He realizes that he is the main target as he's looking to cross the map once again. Burt looking for a greater power blast. What is he going to do? Now, last setup we saw onto Sea-Doo where we were saying they really needed that stun. That was exactly what you want to do. You Dragon's Breath up Sea-Doo, put him in a sheep, double Dragon's Breath on Trill and Mez, into the double Ring of Frost, and that way all 3 members are controlled. No one can shut down those greater power blasts, and that's their opportunity. But another huge setup onto Sea-Doo. Anti-magic zone looking to deny. Sea-Doo has to stay alive. Gladiator safeguard. Is he just going to die through anti-magic zone? Sea-Doo's getting low, caught into the Dragon's Breath. Spirit Link Totem traded out. Big damage from Easy Money, but Varen in the meantime forced into his Ice Block. And in that last exchange, Method Orange basically traded out everything to survive.
I mean, that was an all or nothing exchange between both teams. Now playing on the ropes really here. It's going to be danger time for the next couple of setups. Burt looks to set up more greater pyros. Tuna gets a restyle stun. Double pyro! Big pies! Big kill! Sea-Doo gets blown out in game number 1.
Oh my goodness, the pies are finally going to be served. We're going to see Sea-Doo get absolutely deleted. And this is something that looks somewhat repeatable. I mean, even within the mistakes that do happen, right? I mean, we see a huge mistake, right? Tuna doesn't come in with the stun. That could have been that early kill there, and that's basically like a pie with no crust. There's just gonna be goo all over the floor, and that's not a pie, that's a whole other type of mess. And we see even after that mistake, they recover, they get more setups, and all of a sudden, is this comp the right answer for Method Orange?
I think so, and the situation you alluded to is kind of Tuna being the server, trying to serve up that stun, but tripping in on the way to his table. And then here we see the setup. Beautiful Ring of Frost is going to come out on Sea-Doo, and this is the difficult thing. You can see that double Ring of Frost being cast. Sea-Doo actually walks in to that Ring of Frost. Varin and Bert setting up the pies right there. They're going to get it at the end of it. Tuna this time around makes it to his table, and the reason why Sea-Doo's trinket is on cooldown right there is because in that previous exchange when he almost died through the anti-magic zone, he actually had to use his Dwarf Racial, the Fireblood, to remove that Maledict trinket, and that put his trinket on 30 seconds cooldown. They found that small window right there, serving up 2 pies for Sea-Doo, bulking up for this arena season, and that's it.
I mean, we know that they've already eaten 3 pies to the face, right? That's the reason Method Orange was on the lower side of the bracket. I just, when I see that composition work out, when we see this head-to-head, I'm not sure if this is the right play for Method Orange. What did you think about the Shaman there? Sea-Doo obviously going to be the target. We see a lot of those defensives need to be used in an all-in. All of a sudden, the AMZ's not doing enough. The Link needs to come out as well. Sea-Doo's instantly in Ascendance after that. Everything needed to be invested. Do we like the setup from Method Orange?
I think I'd rather see the Mistweaver Monk, honestly. I think with the really low cooldown Life Cocoon as well as Diffuse Magic, you have a lot of answers to keep yourself alive, especially if you play the short port. You can use your Transcendence to get away. It's a low cooldown. I just think Mistweavers in general are a little bit better for dealing with this particular setup. You would think with the Shaman, with the Wind Shear and the Grounding Totem, that you're pretty safe, but the problem is Sea-Doo's just dying in stuns, and even with the Grounding Totem, as a Fire Mage, when you're casting Greater Pyroblast, you can just use Fire Blast while you're casting to just instantly remove that Grounding Totem. That threat of being able to ground that damage is now gone, whereas with the Mistweaver Monk, you still have the Paralysis, you have Ring of Peace, you have Leg Sweep, a lot of tools you can use to survive, and I think just in general, it's going to be easier for both Mez and Trill to get a little bit more aggressive when they have a Mistweaver Monk backing them up compared to the Shaman.
I mean, look, the one thing that is definitely true, though, Zico, as well, is the fact that there were some real setups, right? I mean, we saw the mages getting pressured, but when you have 2 mages on the other team, there's a lot that you have to go through. Like, you need to be going through the Ice Block, you need to be going through the Carterize, potentially the 10th. Like, there's so much that you do need to go through, so you need to be able to outlast so many G-Pies.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Every time Sea-Doo gets caught up in one of these Rings of Frost or a Polymorph, that's when the setup really is happening. Both mages are going to start baking up that greater pie, and if they get interrupted, well, Polymorph is on a different school, so you can just re-poly, wait out that lockout. One of the mages can go ahead and cook up another pie, and then the other mage can just re-sheep to prevent there from being a gap there. And as long as one of them gets out his Greater Pyroblast and the other one can assist with the Meteor and the instant damage, that is enough damage to force out a big cooldown. Now, the other thing is as well, this honestly was at the back of a couple of mistakes from Method Orange. Sea-Doo walked into that Ring of Frost basically for no reason at the end there. If he waited 1 more second, that Ring of Frost was going to disappear. He wouldn't have been caught up in that CC chain. That's number 1. Number 2, before that, when he had to use his Fireblood Racial, it was at the back of Mez's anti-magic zone being a little bit too slow. When you drop the anti-magic zone, if the Greater Pyroblast has already been casted and is in the air, if the pie is in the sky, then all of a sudden it's going to do full damage, even if you drop that anti-magic zone. So you really have to know, okay, he's going to land this one and drop it, 0.2 seconds or so before the Greater Pyroblast is actually finished casting. That way you actually reduce the damage from it.
Now, the thing that is scary that you also need to think about if you are a Method Orange fan is Easy Money is one of the easiest teams to predict, hands down. We know the 2 compositions they have, and one of them really doesn't seem like the move here in this matchup. So that was exactly what Method Orange wanted. That was what they wanted to set up in that blind pick, and it goes the way of Easy Money, which means that maybe Method Orange, even with that little bit of time after they were knocked down to the lower side of the bracket by Easy Money off broadcast, maybe they didn't figure out the exact answer yet. Now, Supatees, I do want to go big picture here for just 1 second as we're talking about healers, because I think it's important to note with the meta that obviously we thought that we were moving into a meta that was going to really focus on druids because they're going to be the classes that are able to get away and get drinks. We see that drinks are harder and harder to get based off of the other compositions that are up in the meta. A lot of the DPS can just completely shut down those drinks, and all of a sudden we have seen monks inch up more and more, becoming more and more popular. We've already mentioned how important this may be. Do you think that monk needs to be something in your tool belt right now as a healer?
I mean, it definitely does, especially if you're running the cleave setups, adding in that extra weight of the crane, having better mana efficiency. I really think Sea-Doo picking Restoration Shaman is a comfort pick, while it still has the advantage of already explained Grounding Totem and Wind Shear. You can't use those in a stun, and with the strategy that we're seeing employed by Easy Money, they're killing Sea-Doo in stuns. So if you can't access that Restoration Shaman utility and you're getting bursted down, I would say that it had to have been a mistake from the entire team to really let that moment happen. I think Bert had both Trill and Mez attacking him, and nobody stopped him from getting that Greater Pyro. If they can just manage to interrupt one of the mages, he's not going to get soloed by the other, so they need to coordinate their interrupts a little bit better, especially when Sea-Doo is stun locked to prevent him from dying. Should be a lot easier on Dalaran Sewers. Smart pick from Method Orange in terms of map selection, but I'm impressed to see that Easy Money, despite being their first time on broadcast facing the reigning BlizzCon champions, are not afraid to spice things up and really set up huge burst windows and put the BlizzCon champs to the test.
Yeah, and we are going to see Sea-Doo on that Shaman again, and it's also important to say with Easy Money too, the resolve that they're showing, because they just lost a series and it wasn't exactly a fun series to lose. And that was a pretty bloody one, to say the very least, and they're coming back here and they're swinging without too much of a problem, and their path to even get here was an impressive one as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we saw the offline game between Easy Money and Method Orange, it was a really close series. I believe it ended 2-3 in favor of Easy Money. All the games were close. Method Orange just getting caught up in these setups where they're just getting completely one-shot. And I have a lot of questions for the Shaman of Sea-Doo. Obviously, the guys have thought about it quite a bit as they've already played against this team, but I just feel like in general, the Mistweaver Monk would be a better pick, but we'll have to see what Method Orange can get done. I also just wanted to ask what you guys think about the Fireblood racial verse potentially being Horde. I mean, we see Sea-Doo just dying in stuns. If he was playing an Orc, all of the stuns are shorter, gives him an opportunity to survive, but he's opting to go for Alliance instead, and I think that's because he wants to allow Trill and Mez to play Relentless, but I just don't know if it's worth it.
I think Orc is definitely something to consider, because the Orc obviously has this reduced stun, and usually when he goes down, it's at the back of that Rake stun, which is already a pretty short stun. So definitely something to consider, but at the same time, I think Mez was playing Night Elf, and being able to shadow melt some of those Greater Pyros is also kind of useful. So I don't know. I guess it's better for Sea-Doo to be Orc. Potentially could be a switch that they could make.
Just like you have to consider who the main kill target is, right?
Exactly.
And I mean, from the games I've seen, it's been Sea-Doo that's been falling most of the games.
And just for anybody who doesn't know how that interaction actually does work out, if you are a Night Elf and you do use your racial ability to shadow meld when you're currently targeted by a G-Pie, how exactly does that work, Zico?
So the G-Pie flies at you. If you shadow meld while it's flying at you, it just disappears. It doesn't do any damage, and it takes you out of shadow mode. It takes you out of that split-second stealth, basically. So you can avoid the damage completely, and you can use that to avoid Maledict trinkets as well. I actually spoke with Maz about this because I was very curious why they weren't playing Dwarf and they were playing the Night Elf, and he said it's because he doesn't like that it shares the cooldown of the trinket, which is what took down Sea-Doo in the end there. At the same time, though, having that access to the reduced stun could definitely save Sea-Doo, but at the same time, it doesn't reduce the amount of the time he's going to be spending in Polymorph. A lot of the time, you are already casting those Greater Pyroblasts in the Polymorph, so I'm not sure how effective it would be. I feel like if they get them off in the CC, and Sea-Doo gets stunned, it doesn't really matter that much. He's going to probably die if he doesn't have a trinket or someone stops the Greater Pyroblasts. It could potentially be something, though, to help out a little bit, but at the same time, also, they don't have to kill Sea-Doo in that matchup, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, we've killed our fair share of DKs, we've killed our fair share of Monks, too.
Well, I do want to say right now, obviously Easy Money does have the momentum in their favor, but they're entering a small map of Dalaran Sewers. And Sid, I have to ask, when we go to such a small map, is this going to be an upstream swim for Tuna and Easy Money?
I would think that, well, these teams already went head-to-head, and the series was 3-2, so it's my expectation that on the small maps, Method Orange was able to win, and then on the large maps, Easy Money was able to win, and I think that is what we will see play out here. Unless Method Orange throw away one of the small maps, then maybe Easy Money just walks away with this 3-0 against the reigning BlizzCon champions, and this is really important for Method Orange, because we said in that third place position, you're going to be going against the second seed, or maybe if they even get knocked down to the fourth, depending on how well the move do in this tournament, and then the sixth cup afterwards. Method Orange wants to get into a first or a second position if they can. They're one of the only teams really close enough to do so. And if they can, then they dodge Method Black. They dodge Wildcard Gaming from the European region when it comes to the LAN. So Method Orange can't afford to be going down to the newcomers. They cannot afford going down to the Bakery Cleave here. If they do, it opens up an opportunity for just anything to happen.
I mean, it puts them in a spot where, yes, they're comfortable to go to LAN, but imagine showing up at LAN and instantly just being against the toughest teams in the world. It's not something that you want. I remember even, you go back to LAN with Method Orange in the past too. It's like that first matchup can really just set up everything. They go against a composition that they weren't ready for in Jungle Cleave, and all of a sudden they find themselves in just a terrible place for that entire tournament. And all of a sudden now, you really do need to be thinking about seeding.
Yeah, and Ben is actually right here. They have gone for the triple orc play here on the side of Method Orange. So Sea-Doo is going to be in stance a little bit shorter.
Yeah, and I think it's a good choice if they are going after Sea-Doo. We'll have to see what exactly Easy Money does. As you kind of alluded to, Zico, all three members are vulnerable. Greater Power Blast is one of the most powerful spells in the game. It does percentage-based damage, so it does the same amount of damage to everyone. Doesn't matter how much stamina or health they have. Big setup here on the Sea-Doo. Both combustions are committed, and Mez gets a really good value out of his anti-magic zone. Sea-Doo easily survives.
Yeah, good trade by Mez. Immediate reaction on his part. Now Burt being counter-pressured as Tuna tries to respond. Greater Power is being casted. Varen looks like he's likely to get his off. Looking for a second. Not opting for it just yet. Trill gets bursted. He predicted the damage. Has that fortified elixir already rolling to reduce the damage. Sea-Doo gets caught into a polymorph. Could be trouble. Burt sets up with multiple polymorphs. Who are they going to go after? Do they have denial on this? Burt blinks out of range. They're going after Sea-Doo. Huge hit incoming. Tons of damage. Ducks around the corner. Manages to survive. Dragon's Breath at low health. Ring of Frost. Not able to land it. Sea-Doo able to escape for now.
Yeah, this is one of the problems with the Resto Shaman. Sea-Doo's just constantly low in this matchup. He's got no trinket. He's super vulnerable. We'll have to see what exactly can happen. Burt looking for a Ring of Frost. Sea-Doo barely dodging it. Now Burt blinking in, looking for a polymorph on Trill. Greater Pyroblast going to be channeled out. Who is it going to be on? And one of the sneaky things we see Fire Mages do is they actually have macros for Focus Greater Pyroblast. So it's difficult for Method Orange to tell who exactly they're going to be baking these pies on. Is it a focus cast? Is it a targeted cast? That's why all three members of Method Orange really have to be paying attention.
Good denial on that setup. That could have been the end of the game with no Gliders Medallion unseated. But now that Method Orange have thwarted that assault, it's time to attack. Burt in trouble. Tuna with no Iron Bark. It's a race against the Temporal Shield. Who is going to break first? As Burt gets bursted, Temporal goes off, starts to recover. Method Orange looks like Trill wants to just push out, but there's multiple Greater Pyroblasts incoming. Baron free casting. See what they can do to disrupt this. Burt setting up with the double Frost Nova, maybe for Tuna to sneak away and regenerate some mana. Mez is trying to snipe that out and prevent it from happening. Baron blinks in, gets the Dragon's Breath Polymorph. This is where we see a double Ring of Frost on the DPS, but it whiffs. Burt isn't able to secure the crowd control. I love this Earth Elemental on Tuna, keeping him in combat and preventing him from using Prowl to get re-stealth stuns in that Feral Affinity. Good presence of mind from Sea-Doo to send that Elemental after him, removing that stun potential.
Trill had really good backup on Sea-Doo, though. He had his Transcendence on that box, so he was able to port back and slow down one of the Greater Pyroblasts, denying Varen. Now Burt in a little bit of trouble. Dragon's Breath going to be used by Varen to try to assist Burt and survive. Greater Pyroblast now looking to be cast out, but Trill interrupts. One lands onto Trill, but it's not that big of a deal. And Mez, he's using Dark Simulacrum, so one of the spells he can steal is a Greater Pyroblast, looking to bake some pies of his own. And if that lands, it's going to be 35% damage to Burt or Varen, definitely contributing to the one-shot capability of Method Orange. If they can find it, Burt in some trouble, a lot of damage. Cauterized Prox, I think it was off the back of a Pyroblast from Mez. Ring of Frost on Sea-Doo, that falls. Now, once again, Method Orange looking good to be pushing in and getting aggressive.
Mez is trying to steal the secret family recipe and dish out some Greater Pyros of his own. Will he be able to find it and win the game for his team? We are about to find out here shortly. Burt counter-aggressing, Trill on the run, ducking for cover with Sea-Doo at the box. Mez exposed in center field. Varen getting through one interrupt. Burt setting up. Could be a double G-Pie here attempted by Easy Money. Not able to secure it just yet. Palmer from the Fist of Fury. Where's the denial? Mez prevents this Greater Pyroblast. Tuna moves in for a stun. Sea-Doo gets caught in a polymorph. Setup looks good. Huge Meteor connects. Trill has to trade. Burt exchanges Temporal Shield. In the meantime, they set up on Sea-Doo in the back line as well. Easy Money trying to go for a two-pronged attack. Sea-Doo struggling to deal with it right now, managing to slowly but surely recover. Ring of Frost locking the team down. Ring of Peace denies the connect. Baron gets a polymorph, unfortunately on diminishing return, but maybe it doesn't matter if it sets up for a greater pyro. Baron connects one onto Sea-Doo. Bert can't back him up. Bert's in trouble. I do believe the Cauterize is already proc, so he needs to be extra careful.
Yeah, definitely really scary, as you're right. Cauterize is already procced for Bert. One greater Pyroblast being used by Baron. Gets grounded by Sea-Doo, so great job by Sea-Doo on that restoration shaman. He can use the grounding totem to redirect the Pyroblast into the ground, essentially completely nullifying the damage that happens. Now Sea-Doo into a polymorph. Double Dragon's Breath. Do they have the Ring of Frost? Trill and Sea-Doo caught in a polymorph. What is Mez gonna do? Asphyxiate on one mage. Combustion gets used on Sea-Doo. He's in a little bit of trouble. Pyroblast gonna connect and just fall. He's getting lower. Spirit Link Totem trades out at 1% health. Sea-Doo barely holds on. That was a 2-for-1 bake sale that Method Orange almost fell to.
Bake sale here. Now into dampening. Scary moment for Method Orange. Easy Money looking to knock the BlizzCon champions out of the competition. The spicy newcomers, can they cook up a victory is now the question. Bird under fire, needs to be careful. Trill and Mez leading the charge. Tuna denies. Mez sees Tuna is trying to escape and try and get a drink, but not able to find it. Bert now setting up with multiple greater pyros, gets stopped on the second one. Tuna moves in for a stun. Dragon's Breath on Sea-Doo. Good crowd control initiated by Easy Money here as they try to set up a swap. Trill needs to make sure that he responds appropriately. He's in a 3-on-1, but he's actually owning Bert. 3 against 1. Bert tries to set up on Sea-Doo with a surprise attack, making it look like he was going after Trill, but all along trying to go after Sea-Doo. Bert gets gripped back downstairs. It caught no stun. Trill now gets swapped to. Sea-Doo has to keep his eyes on every member of his team. Easy Money are unpredictable.
Definitely all over the place, and that's one of the great things about these fire mages is they can take anyone down with those greater Pyroblasts. So all three members of Method Orange really have to be on their toes, making sure they're interrupting all the greater Pyroblasts. It's not that huge a deal if one gets off, but if both mages are able to bake up some pies, it becomes very scary for your team. Baron once again looking for a greater Pyroblast. Sea-Doo backs him up with the Wind Shear. Now Trill and Mez looking for pressure, but they're both caught into a Frost Nova. Trill Tiger's Lust. Mez uses the Wraith Walk. Now they're all over Bert. Still with an Ice Block though, Bert's going to be feeling relatively healthy. Beautiful Temporal Shield before the stun. He should be able to hold on. Baron has to back him up. Big pressure here from Method Orange, but Bert manages to hold on from Tuna's Ironbark.
Double Ring of Frost. Sea-Doo locked in. No, gets gripped on it. Good denial by Mez. Nope, Sea-Doo soon gets caught in the polymorph. Are they going to set up on Sea-Doo? Tuna's moving in. Tuna's ready for this. Baron positions. Gets interrupted by Mez. Bert gets one off. But Tuna can't stun. He gets it late. Is that late stun going to be enough? Sea-Doo trades. He just wants to respect that situation and not go down. But now without his Gladiator's Medallion, he's exposed later on.
Yep, Sea-Doo, no Gladiator's Medallion, no Astral Shift. And guess what? Baron and Bert, double combustion available. Trill getting low. They have to crowd control Mez. Mez needs to make sure he holds onto his anti-magic zone. Trill definitely doesn't want to fall. Fortifying Brew and Diffuse Magic trade out. Trill 5 seconds left on the Touch of Karma, but still in a little bit of trouble. Sea-Doo trying to top him off so he can get aggressive once again. You don't want to be leaving Mez in midfield. Baron gets a greater Pyroblast. Bert looking for one as well, but Mez shuts both of them down. Nicely done. Tuna potentially looking for a drink here. He isn't stealth. He can reset his mana. Things will be looking good for Easy Money. Method Orange, they have to try to find an opening. Bert getting low. Touch of Death. One Gladiator's Maledict. Bert could be in a lot of trouble right now. It looks like he will be able to hold on off the back of that Ring of Peace as Baron and Bert looking to set up on Sea-Doo. They get the Ring of Frost. Sea-Doo could be in a lot of trouble, but he realizes it. Now Sea-Doo in a polymorph. Bert and Baron trying to take down Sea-Doo. If he gets caught into a stun, this could be danger time.
Here comes double greater pyro, multiple meteors flying in. Mez saves the day. It needs to be enough defense to deny the kill. Another perfect combo by Easy Money gets deflected, and Method Orange have a significant mana advantage if they can hang on a little bit longer. Sea-Doo's just panicking, drops a Spirit Link Totem. Bird's still under fire, needs to be careful. Temporal Shield seconds away from going off and healing him back into the fight. Manages to stay alive. Fortunately for Easy Money, they got the Spirit Link Totem. Now in dampening, Mez becomes a target as well. It's still anyone's game.
Definitely, but Tuna running out of tools and running out of mana. Bert looking for a greater Pyroblast. Baron lands one as well. Mez getting low. He needs to hold on. He needs to get the Death Strike. If he can hold on to it and get the Death Strike off, he will be able to keep himself alive. Heal up quite a bit on that Death Knight. Sea-Doo panicking. He can't spend his mana fast enough. This is the problem with Restoration Shaman. He's got full mana, but just doesn't have the heals to keep Mez alive. Trill now getting aggressive onto Bert, getting polymorphed up. Bert looking for a greater Pyroblast. Do they have an interrupt? No, they don't. Bert lands one. Who's it on? Dragon's Breath sets up the team of Easy Money. Sea-Doo getting low, but
double.
Method Orange are going to be able to stabilize.
Oh, multiple gliders, Maledict's Burt on the run. The Cauterize is procced, Ice Block forced. The last line of defense for Burt is now out of the way. Both teams are vulnerable. Dampening isn't going anywhere but up. The healing is now significantly reduced at 27%. Who is going to fall first? If Easy Money can close out on a small map, move to match point, it's looking solid for them to just walk away with the rest of the series. Varen setting up with a greater power blast. Sea-Doo denies. Burt under pressure. Can Burt stay alive long enough for one more push? It's going to be off the back of Sea-Doo making a mistake. Sea-Doo has the answers to survive this hit. They should be able to stay aggressive. Gets counterspelled. Maybe an opportunity to attack. Burt gets denied on that greater pyro blast. Still down at half health. Sea-Doo in crowd control. Varen needs this polymorph. He's not able to get the polymorph. Sea-Doo grounding totems it. Now Burt in trouble.
Big trouble. Touch of death committed by Trill. Burt getting low. Needs to use Temporal Shield. He's getting lower and lower. Could get taken down very easily. I don't think he has Cauterize left to work with. No Ice Block available. Tuna, no mana left. What is Easy Money going to do? Varen setting up for a greater Power Blast. Who's it on? It doesn't matter. Burt gets taken down. Method Orange, a few close calls in that matchup, but they managed to stabilize.
And ultimately, that small map, it isn't going to give enough perfect pie. Easy Money looking to make their strategy work. Yet again, will they be able to take down Method Orange 2 times in this tournament?
All right, the newcomers. Easy Money looking like they're cooking with honey here in game number 1. It's Tolvaron Arena. It's bright and sunny. Sea-Doo, are your eyes starting to get runny?
What?
I don't know. I tried to one-up Rich.
I was with you until that last one.
I had to improvise it, man.
I don't know about
Rich wrote that down.
I like that. No, you did good, Sid.
All right. Sea-Doo in a polymorph. What are Burt and Varen going to be able to get done? Here's the double combustion. Sea-Doo could be in some trouble. Anti-Magic Zone, a really good trade for Mez, keeping Sea-Doo alive, and I like this. Method Orange, I feel like against this composition, sometimes they get in their own head. They need to play it calm, cool, and collected, make out efficient trades. On game number 1, we saw Sea-Doo trade out his Trinket, as well as the Astral Shift and Anti-Magic Zone. It just creates openings for Easy Money. They respond appropriately. I think they can definitely survive these one-shot attempts from Easy Money.
All right, Method Orange get through the Iron Bark, they get through the Temporal Shield. So now this big push could be a Cauterize Ice Block if they can stay on target. Let's see if they can. Tuna's in stealth, he's sneaking around the map. He's gonna pounce on the Sea-Doo. Varen, is he in position to get that Greater Pyro? One Greater Pyro in the sky. Burt wasn't able to get a follow-up. I don't think they've got enough damage to really pressure Sea-Doo too much here as he ducks around the corner. Now Troll and Mez need to start getting aggressive. They're 1 second away from that Temporal Shield. Burt buys the time with the double Dragon's Breath, setting up for some Greater Pyros, at least getting through some of the interrupts from the team of Method Orange. Now, you guys obviously have a lot more experience playing this composition than probably anyone in the game. How do you feel about using the combustions at the same time as opposed to splitting them up?
Well, I think the problem for Easy Money when they use the combustion at the same time is obviously Mez is getting really efficient trades with the anti-magic zone. So in this particular case, I think if they can get at least one greater power blast off, potentially, then they could be looking to split up their combustion and they'll have enough damage to take someone down. But that being said, if they do get the anti-magic zone out of the way, then these greater power blast attempts are going to be super effective onto Sea-Doo as he gets low. Astral Shift trades with Spirit Link Totem as well. Sea-Doo's really scared in that situation. And that's what I'm talking about. If they use double combustion, get anti-magic zone out of the way, then these next attempts with greater power blast become really scary for Method Orange.
All right, Varen and Burt's picking the big map and setting up big damage here against Method Orange, the reigning BlizzCon champions, against the newcomers, the new chefs in the kitchen, trying to cook up some victory. Sea-Doo able to escape to safety. Good disruption by Mez with that asphyxiate. Varen under fire. Burt trying to cycle up some huge damage while Varen is tanking them effectively. Burt getting multiple greater pyros. Trill in trouble. Touch of Karma redirects some of that greater pyro damage, but now without that Touch of Karma, Trill's gonna have to keep his eyes wide open.
Yep, definitely a little bit scary there for Trill. No Trinket, no Touch of Karma, and he is a potential opening for the team of Easy Money as eating a greater power blast, but he wants to recover behind the pillar. So he is able to top off everyone. And now Method Orange in full retreat, and this is the advantage Easy Money has on this map. It's a huge, wide open space, which makes it difficult to shut down both of these fire mages. And now Burt and Varen both have their combustion available as well. So big one-shot potential available. Mez needs to make sure he's going to be able to have his Trinket, trade out anti-magic zone. Ring of Frost attempt there, but Mez able to shut it down. Polymorph comes in. Tuna looking like he wants to be in position. They get a stun. What are they going to do on Sea-Doo? There's a greater power blast being channeled out by Burt, but it gets completely shut down.
Did it?
No greater power blast. I think Sea-Doo should be able to survive off the back of that anti-magic zone. And once again, both combustions committed by Easy Money.
Yeah, Easy Money trying to go for a big blowout there, but Method Orange once again deny. Mana, though, is looking great for Tuna. Unlike on Dalaran Sewers, he's able to easily escape, get into stealth as he is right now. Jumping into the fight, stunning up Trill. Burt setting up some Greater Pyros, one in the sky. Looking for a second. This could be trouble. 2 Greater Pyros onto Trill. Diffuse Magic denies the kill. Overlapped with that Gladiator Safeguard. I do like that Easy Money are attacking multiple targets, really trying to run Sea-Doo for a loop as far as predicting where their next big push is going to go.
What are they going to do? For Method Orange, it just seems really difficult on this map to really get anything going. Both Burt and Varen both have their ice blocks available. I think Trill, Sea-Doo, and Mez, they need to hold on to all their defensive cooldowns and eventually make an all-in push with triple Maledict onto either Varen or Burt. And in dampening, they can definitely push through some of those Restoration Druid defenses. Burt gets gripped into a leg sweep. Varen looking like he wants to get in position for a potential Dragon's Breath Sheep onto Sea-Doo. He actually sneaks in the Sheep. Now Varen cooking up a greater Pyroblast. Oh, what is Sea-Doo going to do? Paralysis by Trill. And that's the thing about the Windwalker Death Knight is they have a lot of tools. Sea-Doo forced to trinket. Oh! Gets a greater Pyroblast. Sea-Doo getting low. Triple Dragon's Breath sets him up. Sea-Doo caught all alone. Is he going to be able to survive? He chariots out his trinket. And Astral Shift, he's still so low. The Maledicts barely able to keep Sea-Doo alive there. Sea-Doo still has a Spiritling Totem. He greeds it huge, able to hold on to it, but that was a really close call, and Method Orange traded out a lot to survive there.
Yep, Easy Money showing that they can definitely take it to Method Orange. Mez actually stealing a Polymorph, throwing that on Tuna. Could be an opportunity to force an Ice Block from Burt. They can't stay on target. Double Polymorphing up Mez and Trill at the same time. Sea-Doo doesn't have enough the spells to get both of them out of that chain, denying an Ice Block forced opportunity here from Method Orange. Dampening now kicking in, and it's going to pay favors to both sides as Death Strike becomes weaker, as well as the heal over time effects from the Restoration Druid. In the meantime, Easy Money, they set up a Polymorph. Tuna's trying to get a re-stealth. They don't stop him right in front of him. Sea-Doo gets stun locked. That's going to be an anti-magic zone. Once again, Combustions overlapped at the same time. This is why I was trying to say, like, do you think they should start splitting them up? Because it seems so efficient for Mez.
Yeah, definitely Mez is getting huge value. There's no question about that. It's just a matter of if Easy Money's just trying to bait out that anti-magic zone, but they may be able to just get it with one. Definitely something they could potentially experiment with, and then it's more difficult for Method Orange to really commit that major defensive cooldown. So maybe they need to spice it up a little bit, mix it up.
Peace.
Yeah, Ring of Peace. Up in the sky. Unfortunately, misplaced by Trill. I'm not sure if it actually interrupted anything there, but Burt getting bursted down, leg sweep. Big burst potential here for Method Orange. No touch of death, and Burt should be able to survive with the Temporal Shield, but this is a good situation for Method Orange to be in. They still have a lot of defensives to rotate through. Burt, no Temporal Shield. Tuna, no Iron Bark. Do they have the damage? Sea-Doo trades out his Earthen Shield Totem to keep Mez and Trill aggressive, but now caught in midfield. Both Mez and Trill are very vulnerable.
All right, Mez has got his pet sent after Tuna. Tuna needs to find an opportunity to drink and regenerate mana so that they can push this into a deeper dampening play to potentially kill Mez. It will be so difficult for Mez to get back to the pillar if he's out in center field trying to push for ice blocks. Burt in position, gets one Greater Pyro, looking for a second. Nobody's interrupting them. 2 Greater Pyros, 3 Greater Pyro, 3 Greater Pyros. I guess Sea-Doo just gonna power heal through it. Big hit with multiple Maledicts. Burt then blinks over and secures Polymorphs. That puts Mez behind, and deeper into dampening, they bank an Icebound Fortitude right before the critical mass. This is setting up well for Easy Money to take down Mez.
Yeah, Burt blinks in aggressive though. Mez able to get some damage rolling, and now near the pillar, Method Orange is going to be feeling relatively safe. Burt getting gripped behind the pillar. He shimmers away using the Gladiator's Medallion to get out of the stun. Now there's an opening here for Method Orange. Burt has no trinket. If they can get a full leg sweep on him and commit a lot of damage with the Touch of Death, definitely an opportunity for them to get something rolling. There's the Iron Bark committed as well. So now Burt, no trinket, no Temporal Shield. Tuna, no Iron Bark. Great opportunity for Method Orange and Trill with that Touch of Death to bank the first ice block and potentially the only ice block Burt will have available. Maledict does come flying in. Burt does not want to mess around. All 3 Maledicts committed there by Method Orange. Burt trades out the ice block. It's a fair trade. That was a really scary moment for Easy Money.
I want to see Burt just stay in this wizard corner. It's going to be a risky move to push in on him in that position because then Varen will free cast Greater Pyros and Burt will likely get them off as well. So you've got a choice as Method Orange. When do you make the push? Because you're going to have to fight in enemy territory in that far corner. They're going to need to make sure that they have a Spirit Link Totem or an anti-magic zone to exchange when they make that big push, and they're going to have to make the call perfectly so they have enough damage to overwhelm Burt and still enough defense to stay alive while they push forward into the midfield. Tuna takes advantage of this opportunity to just regenerate mana. It's going to all come down to one final push. Method Orange have multiple answers to exchange. They should be able to take it unless they throw. So let's see if Easy Money can put some pressure on here, force Method Orange to make a mistake.
Yeah, Burt gets gripped in behind the pillar. That's going to be a great opportunity for Method Orange to really start getting that momentum rolling in their favor. So Burt has to play behind Varen in.
There it is.
Gets gripped, asphyxiate. What damage do we see from Method Orange? Varen responds with the Dragon's Breath, looking for a polymorph. Sea-Doo shuts it down with a beautiful wind shear. Triple Dragon's Breath, Ring of Frost.
Double.
Looking for the Ring of Frost. The 8 going to be made there by Burt and Varen. Now Mez in a polymorph. Trill has to shut down these Greater Pyroblasts.
Sea-Doo.
One being cooked up by Burt. Big damage on Sea-Doo. Anti-magic zone trades.
split.
Sea-Doo will be able to survive, but like you said, Sid, now Varen with the combustion, they have the double threat, and Mez with no anti-magic zone could be very vulnerable.
All right, Varen's going to have to hard carry here if they want to take down Sea-Doo. Still, Method Orange need to make mistakes, I think. They are far ahead on cooldowns. They could definitely overwhelm Burt. Maybe they just kill him outright with tons of damage. Trill looking to close it out, just owning Burt. Burt on the run, but his health is ticking away. Is he going to be able to hold out? Tuna's healing is so reduced. Not enough.
He
Stole the recipe. Bakes a pie of his own.
And playing with fire gets Easy Money and Tuna seared. Method Orange going to take a victory here and put themselves on match point.
Beautiful Dark Sim right there at the end by Mez, and you know, that's what happens. If you have too many chefs in the kitchen, all of a sudden Mez comes in, steals the recipe, walks away with the dub.
Oh, Lord Mez. That's like one of those moments where after, you've played with the player long enough, you know a player well enough, you just ultimately, you can see the smile on their face after that.
Yeah, and again, here we saw a beautiful setup onto Sea-Doo. Again, Easy Money looking to get the sheep, but now since Sea-Doo is on DR and Burt has no ice block for a little bit, they are looking to get that big setup here onto Burt, and they're just powering through here. Mez as well gets that Dark Simulacrum on a Greater Pyroblast from Varen right there, and
there it is.
And another one gone, and another one gone.
Another one bites the crust.
That was so scripted. I love it.
Yeah.
We needed a full commercial break to plan that. It literally took us like 5 minutes. We did it.
Zico and I have been trying to execute that for like the last 4 days, and it failed every time. Yeah.
I think it worked that time, just like we saw that Dark Sim get pulled off by Mez. Now, the thing is when we actually look at this matchup, I do feel like this looks like a 5-game series. In a lot of ways, it really does. Having that swing is going to be huge. Are there any tweaks that you really can see happening within this series, or is it going to be same comps throughout the entirety of it, and just those small maps going to have that extra weight for the side of Method Orange?
Yeah, I think it's just both teams are going to stick to their compositions here. I think Method Orange, I mean, they've really been running like 3 different compositions. I don't see Sam coming in on the Moonkin. And of course, like you said, we could potentially be going to a Game 5. Next map, most likely going to be Ashamane's Fall. Easy Money wants that big space to work with, and makes sense to lock that in. And the only thing I can really think of is maybe change some talents, maybe go for those Flames of Alacrity, get a little bit of an upgrade on your oven. Instead of baking on that stone oven, you could be baking in a microwave, basically. So I want to see that personally.
Bacon in a microwave?
Well, right now they're shoving combust, and it just gives them the anti-magic zone. I feel like if they don't opt in for those extra burst damage traits like the wildfire, they're still going to get that anti-magic zone. Their threat is going to be big enough still to force out that when they double combust on Sea-Doo, and then they can still have that extra speed in their oven.
Yeah, I think it's important right now. They're sort of putting all their eggs in one basket or in one pie, and unfortunately, it just has been answered with the anti-magic zone consistently, and that's really the only value you're going to be getting
Their
out
pies
of.
in one basket?
Yeah.
Has that been
I don't know. Whatever. Anyways.
He had it. He
Yeah,
had
it was completely fine. I don't know why you got to do that to me. Anyways.
So the only thing that's not completely fine right now is going to be Easy Money. They find themselves in a tough spot now because ultimately when you think that Method Orange, you know that in Game 5 now, Method Orange can bring it to a small map. And that second game, really, that was where it looked the most dominant by far.
Well, here's the thing. For Method Orange, that last game, there wasn't that many close calls, honestly. They're getting more comfortable with this matchup, and I think this is kind of how the matchup should play out. For Easy Money, their consistent damage really isn't there. They're all about the one shot, and as long as Method Orange are coordinating, they're saving their kicks for the right moments, because interrupting random Greater Power Blast isn't what you want to be doing. You can deal with one that comes in with no crowd control. What's scary is when you see the Druid in stealth, and then the Greater Power Blasts are being channeled out. Those are the ones that you need to be interrupting, saving the Ring of Peace, the paralysis, your mind freeze, your asphyxiate stun. That's the ones that has to be stopped. Just one random Greater Power Blast isn't going to be that big of a deal. I think Method Orange is sort of realizing that. They're getting a lot more comfortable with this matchup, and these all-in pushes onto a Fire Mage where you have 3 Gladiators Maledicts, you have the Touch of Death rolling, and you can sort of get through the Temporal Shield and the Iron Bark. If you can consistently pull that off, eventually Easy Money, they're going to run out of answers. You only have 1 Ice Block in a game like that, especially later on in Dampening, and I think if Method Orange plays to the same strategy we saw on Tolvaron Arena, I think they're walking away with the series 3-1.
Is there any realm of existence, any timeline, any reality where we maybe see Warrior? Like, it doesn't happen at all in this series. I just really wanted to reiterate that because it was something that was said at the very beginning. It just doesn't seem like we're going to see anything from Easy Money but the double Fire Mage.
So the problem with the problem with bringing in the Warrior is then you have 1 Fire Mage who's super susceptible. As 1 Fire Mage, you're really not that big of a threat. If you're being trained down, if Bert, let's say, for example, in the last game, Bert's being trained down, at least you have Varen who can blink in, he can get crowd control onto Sea-Doo, he can bake his own pies, really get some counter pressure rolling. Whereas if there was a Warrior instead of Varen, he's going to be doing good damage, sure, but there's going to be no crowd control. Bert's going to be easily managed with the tons of interrupts, the plethora of interrupts Method Orange has available on the Death Knight, the Windwalker Monk, and the Resto Shaman. So that's really where the double caster threat comes into effect, because if there was just one of these Fire Mages, they would be easily shut down, dealt with, and taken down quite easily, I think.
Keep in mind as well, folks, that this is an elimination series. Whoever does win it stays alive in the tournament to instantly play in another series against Super Frogs, one of the top teams in the entire world, currently with 420 points in North America. So both of these teams, it's not an easy day. Easy Money versus Method Orange. Easy Money, a new squad that is really showing us just how much this composition can do. And Method Orange, your reigning BlizzCon champions, trying to stay alive in this tournament. They can win here, or Easy Money can bring it to a Game 5.
I mean, Method Orange looks so strong on Tolvaron, which is much worse than Ashamane's fall. If they're going to do it, I think they are going to do it now. They've definitely figured out Easy Money's composition. I think they're going to need to mix up their strategies a bit more. They've got Sea-Doo out in the open. Varen moves in. Bert gets the Dragon's Breath. Varen gets one, but Trill's left open. He's going to deny Bert, but Sea-Doo still gets Polymorph. Bert sets up for a double Ring of Frost. Greater Power Blast in the sky gets gripped. Tuna's in position to pounce, stunning up Sea-Doo. Greater Power Blast connects from Bert. Huge combustion damage. Where's the anti-magic zone? They're holding out on it because they didn't go for the double combustion. Good presence of mind from Mez. Astral Shift exchanged much better for that, and now Anti-Magic Zone can trade for Varens. Method Orange making mid-game adaptations.
Yeah, I really like Sea-Doo going over to the Orc as well. These rake stuns from Tuna, not going to be nearly as effective. Varen connects 1 Greater Power Blast. Trill redirects the damage on the Bert. Looking for a big push here. Trill could be a little bit vulnerable. 1 Maledict does connect. 2nd Greater Power Blast coming in. Trill gets stunned up. What is he going to do? Sea-Doo in a good position here to back his team up. But you can see Bert or Varen moving in, gets the Dragon's Breath Sheath onto Sea-Doo. Now Trill being a little bit vulnerable. He uses Transcendence to get away out of line of sight, and he should be completely fine.
Ooh, they tried to set up on Sea-Doo. Bert's Greater Power Blast not finishing in time, and that could be the difference of Flames of Alacrity. Haste, 2 Power Blasts in the sky there. May have forced a cooldown, but not able to squeak it in time. Both DPS members in Polymorphs. Varen and Bert pull back to set up Pyros. Trill gets stunned up. Bert trying to kill him. Mez grips Bert away. Mind freezes Varen. Good denial on Mez's part here. Bert and Varen now looking at like they want to get aggressive. Varen leads the charge, gets Ring of Peace on the Polymorph. Sea-Doo then wins the blink. This is really good denial from Method Orange. Great coordination.
Yeah, they're working together like a well-oiled machine. Trill backing up Sea-Doo, Sea-Doo backing up Trill. Trill taking a little bit of burst damage from one greater power blast. Varen gets interrupted on the second. And this is what I'm talking about. You allow one to get off, not that big of a deal. You got to save most of your interrupts for the big setups that come in from easy money. One greater power blast can be healed through. Multiple in a stun is when it becomes very devastating, so that's what Method Orange has been looking to shut down, and they've been doing a good job. Varen blinks in, looking for a Dragon's Breath. Fortunately, misses it. Sea-Doo doing a good job just running around this pillar, and Ghost Wolf making it really difficult for easy money to get the setups that they really want.
This is looking better and better for Method Orange. Varen getting pressured. Tuna moves forward, relying on the Temporal Shield. Now able to recover. Bert and Varen both setting up greater power blast. Bert finishes his cast. Now gets grounding totemed by Sea-Doo. Bert goes for another. Manages to get one. Blinks back to make sure he can get the second. Trill now on the run. Ducking out of line of sight, giving Sea-Doo time to recover, then immediately charging back into the battle. Huge hit on Varen. That must have... wasn't even a stolen greater power. Varen's in so much trouble. If they manage to get any crowd control on Tuna, I love this Earth Elemental usage from Sea-Doo throughout this entire day. That Earth Elemental that's punching Tuna the Druid, it's stopping him from using Prowl and getting into stealth and accessing stuns. And that Earth Elemental stays up for an extended period of time, so it removes any kill window opportunity. And that's like a very small thing, but it's definitely effective, and Sea-Doo taking full advantage of it. Bert getting bursted down, but Varen in position to free cast, gets gripped in. Multiple pyros, Trill gets stunned. He preemptively Touch of Karma that incoming bash. Now he should be all right to survive. Maybe not. They're just going all in for a kill on Trill. He uses the Diffuse Magic, but there's multiple Maledicts. Tuna's moving in. If he can get a Cyclone. Oh, they're actually setting up on Sea-Doo. Huge swap. Sea-Doo trinkets, he trades, he stays alive, but how much longer? He's very low on health in midfield. Not where you want to be, facing down two Fire Mages.
Yep, but Bert and Varen, their damage will run out, and Sea-Doo doesn't panic in that situation. And this is what I'm talking about. Method Orange are getting a lot more comfortable with the incoming Fire Mage damage. Varen getting low. Ring of Peace used by Trill to deny Bert. But defensively, Method Orange, they're looking solid. They're not overlapping. Sea-Doo holds on to the Spirit Link Totem. Mez, although that was scary for his team, holds on to the Anti-Magic Zone. And I really am impressed with the gameplay from Method Orange in this particular matchup. They really stepped up compared to game number 1 and the previous series in this tournament.
Tuna trying to sit down for a drink and regenerate mana while Method Orange are playing defensive at the pillar. They don't want to overextend Trill right now, as he doesn't have many defensive cooldowns to save himself to a double greater pyro. So they send Mez to try and bait some damage, then immediately retreats back, denied the drink again. See if Tuna can manage to regenerate mana or not. Mez's Ghoul running across the battle to try and deny Tuna's re-stealth.
Yeah, Tuna was a fish out of water there as Bert summoned a refreshment table for him in order to regenerate some mana.
That's what you were so...
Yes. I mean, that was pretty good, right?
That was literally the best one ever, Sid.
Yeah.
All right,
Sid is just never happy with my puns. You know, I try to step up and
I just want the best from you, okay?
That was not bad. Come on, man. Double leg sweep now
Literally
under
the
Bert.
best one ever.
Double leg sweep on Bert
it.
and Varen. Big burst damage here from Method Orange. Triple Dragon's Breath denies. Tuna still has his Iron Bark, so Method Orange is going to have to work through that if they want to actually land a kill.
Fish out of water.
Oh,
That's incredible.
Tuna moves in, but doesn't stun. They whiff the stun. They stun Sea-Doo out of the... This is very uncoordinated from Easy Money, and they're looking like more of an easy bake oven.
An easy bake
That
oven.
one was terrible. The fish out of water was fantastic. You have no taste.
All right,
I'm not going to chime in here.
What is Varen going to do? Bert lands one greater Pyroblast. Good damage here onto Mez, but he gets recovered quite easily, and that's one of the things pre-dampening, or at this early stages of dampening, a Death Knight can heal himself up through a greater Power Blast. One lands, you use Death Strike, you get healed up for the majority of that damage, and you're going to be completely fine. So in order to take Mez down, you have to get overwhelming amounts of damage.
All right, Sea-Doo caught in crowd control, but they don't get any setup off the double Ring of Frost. That's usually devastation for the double Fire Mage, but they don't manage to tee off. Tuna sitting down for a drink, and I believe he's going to regenerate back to full mana, which is very important right here as dampening kicks in. Both teams are evening out. Dark Simulacrum, what is Mez trying to steal? We're going to have to wait and see if he managed to get anything potent there. They're going for a Maledict play onto Burt. They dispel that off quite easily. A little bit of an uncoordinated assault from Method Orange in terms of aggression. Maybe it doesn't matter. They could just overwhelm Burt. They're really looking to try and get Cauterize or block before we hit critical mass and dampening. Sea-Doo overextending to keep his team going. Now Burt and Varen trying to set up on him. Varen gets Ring of Peace on his Greater Pyroblast. Burt is being pressured away on his. Varen's trying to sneak across the map to get Sea-Doo in crowd control. Sea-Doo sees him coming, isn't able to duck around the corner fast enough. Dragon's Breath into Ring of Frost. This could be devastating. Varen sets up one Greater Pyroblast. Trill moves over to try and stall. He's now in a Polymorph. Bash on Sea-Doo. It looks clean. 2 pies in the sky. Anti-Magic Zone. Is that going to be enough?
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be, but they overlap with the Astral Shift. Fortunately, that was an all-in from Easy Money, so trading your all-out defensive lineup is more than enough, and now Method Orange get aggressive.
Yeah, and Sea-Doo still has his Trinket and Spear Link. That line of defense should keep Method Orange nice and healthy. Burt and Varen trading out quite a bit there. That was a beautiful setup, but with Mez trading out his Anti-Magic Zone, he got huge value, a lot of damage reduction. Varen looking for a Pyroblast, manages to find one. No, it gets grounded by Sea-Doo. Varen now casting his 3rd Greater Pyroblast in a row. Who are they on? One lands on Mez, Death Strike lands. He gets topped off. Sea-Doo in the back line, throwing out some heals as well. They're just teeing off on Mez. They've kind of abandoned Trill. Trill's been doing a really good job rotating through his Diffuse Magic, his Touch of Karma, his Fortifying Bruise, Transcendence. Has a lot of defensive tools available, but his dampening gets higher and higher. I think Mez is going to be an increasingly vulnerable target.
Yep, Sea-Doo hunting down Tuna to deny him from re-stealthing. It's going to be really important to stall that out as much as possible. Burt trying to get a Greater Pyro, gets interrupted. Varen free casting in midfield. Nope, gets sheared by Sea-Doo. Good denial once again from Method Orange. Their play is looking clean here against Easy Money. Let's see if they can sneak in any power plays. They've got Sea-Doo in a Polymorph. Burt tries to set up and support Varen. They're not able to find it. Paralysis, they go for another Polymorph. They're still trying to squeak through here. Greater Pyroblast, they need to get this one. Sea-Doo actually uses the Glidier's Medallion very prematurely on that attack. He will survive for now, but opens himself up later on. Spearling Totem gets traded out. Burt under fire with that Cauterize now triggered. Both teams running low on cooldowns. Dampening continues to rise.
Yeah, Sea-Doo traded out Trinket, Ascendance, and Spirit Link now into a Polymorph. What is Burt gonna do? Is he connecting his damage? Trill doesn't mess around. He turns out the Touch of Karma. Burt very vulnerable here with no Cauterize. He still has the Ice Block, but it can be scary. He needs to make sure he gets that off in time. Trust me, I know. Method Orange looking for some damage still, but Polymorph spam is going to deny a lot of that. Burt getting all in here. Maledix, as he gets low, trades out the Ice Block, will survive, but now Easy Money, they're running out of time, and they're running out of defensive cooldowns.
All right, what are they going to do? Are they going to push in? Varen misses the Dragon's Breath. Sea-Doo was able to dodge it. Now they're not going to be able to set up crowd control. This is dire for Easy Money. Tuna sneaks across the battlefield. He's trying to set up the team. Ringer Frost hits one member. They need to get Trill in that, but they're not falling for it. They just go for an instant cast burst window. Mez denies the kill with the anti-magic zone. Maybe it's not enough at 28% dampening. We'll find out shortly. Burt under fire. Tuna Trin gets out to respond. Sea-Doo manages to escape. Burt and Varen in desperation just trying to stall out the game and maybe stay on target. A stolen Polymorph might close out the game. Mez once again MVP. Burt in trouble. Temporal Shield seconds away from going off. Not gonna do it. Mez closes out on match point. Hard carry Mez.
Ultimately too, you really do need